Hey, and we're back on Molecularly Krystal. This week, I thought we were gonna do something. I thought we should do something fun and casual. So we're doing something that I like to call chemistry vlogs. It'll be a new series, and today we're gonna rank the first 20 elements and 5 special guests in a tier list. So again, this is casual, just for fun. And I'm ranking these elements purely subjectively by what I think they're cool. And if you have your favorite element, please list it down in the comments below and write what you like about it. And again, this is all for fun, and I'm just going to tell you some cool things I like about them. So we're going to start with number 1, which is hydrogen. If you know a little bit about the periodic table, it's ranked in the order of weight. So hydrogen is number 1, and it is the lightest element, and it is literally what stars are made out of, at least a majority of what stars are made out of, including our sun. So I think that's pretty cool, and it's in a class of elements that are considered organic chemistry, and we'll get on into that a little bit more later on. So since it's important and it's number 1 and it is what stars and the sun is made out of, I think we should start it off as C and move it on from there. It's pretty cool. Okay, on to number 2, helium. What do I think of when I think of helium? Party balloons. It is the second lightest element, and speaking of party balloons, don't think of clowns because they're creepy. No offense to any clowns out there. I'm scared of them. Let's see, helium. Helium in balloons, it makes your voice funny, and it is becoming somewhat of a rare commodity on Earth these days, so that's kind of cool. But I think my favorite thing about helium is that it is famous. It was in an episode of The Simpsons when Cletus discovered a helium farm, or a helium reserve on his farm, and he and Homer went into business together, and I think some sneaky happenings happened with Mr. Burns, and it got a little bit dark, but it is a very famous element. So, despite it being in The Simpsons, and as cool as that is, I think hydrogen in the sun is a little bit cooler than that, don't you? I don't know. We'll see. Let's go to number 3, lithium. I think what we all first think of when we hear lithium is lithium batteries. Lithium batteries is what ushered in this revolution of personal electronics. Your cell phones, batteries, smart cars, maybe even. Lithium batteries are pretty cool. Cameras, cell phones, laptops. Also, lithium is a very light element, and it is very reactive in air. It spontaneously combusts in air, so I think that's pretty cool. And just for funsies, lithium burning a white flame, I think that's a little bit cooler than the sun. Maybe not. But we are recording this on a personal device, so I think that makes it a little bit more important since we're on the internet. Okay, number 4, beryllium. I think a lot of us might not have heard of beryllium. It's not really that famous of an element compared to maybe lithium, hydrogen, and helium. Something personally that I think is cool on beryllium is I've worked with a lot of x-rays in the past, and beryllium glass is actually used on x-ray tubes. It is transparent to most x-rays, so it makes it really fun. X-rays allow you to see bones, crystal structures, and other really cool stuff. I mean, Roentgen, right? Roentgen, I think, was the European, maybe British, the scientist whom discovered X-rays. They're called Roentgen rays, I think, sometimes. And one of my favorite Japanese rock stars, Japanese artists, had an album that was called Roentgen, so Hyde from Japan. So I think rock stars and stars should be at the same level. Maybe real stars a little bit higher than rock stars, but we can change that around later if we have to. So number 5, boron. I think boron is kind of an unglamorous type of element. You may have seen it around your house in the form of borax, used for cleaning, used for laundry. Funny, I don't know if it's a fun fact, but when I was younger, I used to use borax to kind of kill cockroaches because it gets stuck under their exoskeleton and I think it suffocates them. I don't know if that's true, but I read it on the internet as a kid, so I mean, it must be true. So something cool about boron that relates to my everyday life and maybe your life when you're in the lab is laboratory glassware is usually made of borosilicate glass. It's rather non-reactive and is very pure and brittle. It's also used to make some coffee brewing stuff like pour over crafts like how do you say Chemex and stuff like that. Where would boron go? Well, I really like it, but like I said, it's a little unglamorous, so we'll just put in the lowest tier for now. Sorry, boron. You're still really cool. All of them are. So carbon, I think everyone has heard of carbon. Like I mentioned earlier, it's part of this special family of elements that make up organic chemistry. These elements, like carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus, silicon, and sulfur, amongst a few others, are what make up every living thing. So I think that's pretty cool. Something cool I think we all learn in school, either if you haven't learned it yet, you will, is carbon dating or radioactive decay of carbon-14. It allows you to date stuff like archaeological finds like dinosaur bones, fossils, pottery, paintings to see if it's counterfeit. So I think that's pretty cool stuff. Since carbon is in almost everything and all living things, and I am a living thing, and I do like art and not counterfeit art, I will personally, selfishly put it above the rock stars and the stars of the world and put it next to lithium, because I think lithium batteries in my phone is a little bit more important than being alive, because I am pretty addicted to my phone. Next up is nitrogen. I don't know if you know, but actually air is more nitrogen than oxygen. It is roughly 78% nitrogen and 21% oxygen. So I think that's pretty cool. Liquid nitrogen is a cryogenic fluid and it's used in a lot of lab equipment and preservation stuff. So that's pretty metal if you ask me. Let's see, nitrogen. I do like it. Let's put it in E. Because do I like The Simpsons more than I like nitrogen? I think nitrogen is right here and helium is right here. Next is oxygen. We breathe it, we love it, and oxygen, we breathe it and we love it, and it's pretty cool. O2 is oxygen that we breathe, oxygen gas, and O3 is what makes up the ozone, allowing Earth to be as inhabitable as it is. And that's why we can't let it get depleted. Fight climate change. I love being eco-friendly and it's a big part of my life. So selfishly, I need to start ranking these a little bit differently, huh? Starting to get stacked up. For now, I'm going to put it in what I call column B is my selfish aisle. We're going to have to shift some of these up if it keeps going like this. Next is fluorine. Fluorine. What do we think of? Fluoride. I think that's what's in toothpaste and then drinking water to keep our teeth nice and healthy. Something bad about fluoride, it is part of this very dangerous acid called hydrofluoric acid. What's different about hydrofluoric acid compared to regular acids that you think of, instead of burning your skin if it gets on you, it goes straight for the bones. So your skin will stay intact, but it will dissolve your bones literally from the inside out. Sounds like an alien, right? So, very dangerous, also very cool. Let's see. Would it be ironic if we put F in the F column? Let's put it in the E, just to be a little bit contrarian. So, neon. We're just about halfway through, so we're going to start having to put some stuff in the A rank and the S rank, huh? S for very special, like DDR. I don't know if people still know about that. Anyway, so neon signs. Neon signs are pretty cool. They're retro, they're vintage now, I guess, and they're pretty artsy. In LA, there is a museum of, I think it's a LA Museum of Neon or something of that sort. That's pretty cool, but I think I'd have to put it down here with boron. It's cool. Like, again, this is all just for fun. I love all these elements, but I don't think it makes it to the top tier for me. Number 11, N, sodium. I think the most common thing we think of when we think of sodium is sodium chloride, which is table salt, makes everything delicious. Let's see. Sodium. Something important that sodium does is important to get sodium and calcium in your diet because they are vital for your body's internal communication and like nerve communication and blood pressure. So those are some pretty cool stuff. Let's see. I think that belongs with the tier of the living. We're gonna have to put some higher stuff up there now. Yeah, we're gonna shift this around later. Again, this is all for fun. Technically, everything belongs in S, but we gotta put something somewhere for now. Mg magnesium. Something Mg magnesium. Something fun that I like to think of. I mean, it's not really fun, but it's more like a fun fact. At one of my jobs, I had a manager who told me that VW bugs, I think a certain line of them, used to have magnesium alloy engines. And then when they caught on fire, rookie firefighters would be told to put it out. And you know what's funny? Water, when you pour it on a magnesium alloy, it actually just burns harder and stronger. So what firefighters like to do is they just kind of let it burn until it's done. So I think that's pretty cool, pretty metal. It is a metal. And yeah, it's pretty fun. I think I'll put it with the fluoride. It's not the most interesting, so we got to put it there. Number 13, aluminum. And now we're just over halfway. Oh, no, we're not. 14 and a half would be halfway out of 25. Math is not my strong suit, I guess. Number 13 is aluminum. I think when you think aluminum, you think aviation or aluminum foil. Either way, it's shiny, it's metal, and it's lightweight. Something cool about aluminum is pure aluminum, when you expose it to air, it forms a coating on the outside called aluminum oxide, which is aluminum alloy, I guess. And it protects aluminum. So the outside of most aluminum alloys have aluminum oxide. So that's kind of cool. Let's see. Where should we put it? You know what? I think travel has really changed the world. So, and aluminum foil probably revolutionized the mini households. So just for funsies, A for aluminum. S, silicon. What do you think of when you think of silicon? Silicon wafers, silicon microchips. Oh no, microchips. We are in the silicon age, folks. Let's see. The silicon age. So something that is not electronic based and is silicon is silicate glass, quartz. Also, let's see what else. Silicone polymers. Silicon's pretty cool. I think because I use silicone mats for cooking and baking sometimes, I'm going to put it next to aluminum. This ranking makes no sense, but again, this is just for fun. Okay, phosphorus. Number 15. Now we are more than halfway through. I think something cool about phosphorus is it's in the most the most important parts of living creatures like RNA, DNA, the phospholipid membranes, ATP. That's pretty cool. You know what? I think if it's the key to living things and our DNA, I will put it with the stars and the sun. How did you think it was going in S? I think it is one tier lower than the other necessary things for life. Actually, maybe I should put sodium a little bit lower. Now that I think about it, I think sodium is not as cool as phosphorus. So let's put it there. Sulfur. Something cool about sulfur is sulfur hydride. Hydrogen sulfide. Something cool about sulfur is hydrogen sulfide, which is a poisonous gas, and it is what we think of when we think of that rotten egg smell. It's really bad. The funny thing is, or the ironic thing is, hydrogen sulfide, I think it's toxic. It's very bad for you, at the very least. And when it gets to a level where it's dangerous, actually, because it overwhelms our nerves so much, we can't actually smell it anymore. So that's pretty crazy, right? It stinks until it doesn't, and that's when it's dangerous. So let's put it... where should it go? Sulfur. I think it should go with the other organic elements. Chlorine. I think the first thought that comes to mind, chlorine, when we think of chlorine, is how do you say, pools, summer, pool parties, and kind of stinky. What's cool about chlorine? It is part of the most common, the most famous acid we think of, hydrogen chloride. It's the acid that melts through metals, burns skin, very corrosive, and it is a very strong acid. What else? It is also in PVC, so that's something you normally don't think of when you think of chloride. Plastics are pretty cool, but I think on this list it'll be a little bit lower. Chlorine gas is also something that's used in war, and I don't think that's all that cool. Argon. It is a noble gas. It is very inert and is very pure. Argon gas is used for welding, which I think is pretty cool because, how do you say, it's heavier than air, so it forms a protective atmosphere so that the weld can stay really clean and it doesn't have like this oxidized parts. So it's important for welding aerospace, rocket ships, health equipment and stuff like that. So I think that's pretty cool. Let's see, argon. Where will it go? I think it is cooler than sodium. Helium and argon are interchangeable. So not always interchangeable, but it could be liquid, cryogenic gas like helium, nitrogen, and argon. So let's put it all together. Okay, potassium. So besides what I mentioned, that potassium and calcium do in the body, potassium is also highly concentrated in seawater. It burns lilac, so that's really cool, and it is the oxidizer in gunpowder, so it does many things just like me. It starts with a K and it's cool. Let's put it solidly mid-tier. Next is calcium. Calcium in your bones. Let's see, what else? Calcium, limestone is calcium carbonate. That's pretty cool. One of nature's splendors when you see the pretty white-looking mountains. And let's see, calcium's also in clay, so it's also in art. That's pretty cool. It's multifunctional. Things that are important to me in my life: art, electronics, baking. So it's A tier. So now to the special guests. So I suspect some of these are gonna be S. So iron. Iron's pretty cool. Iron is the main element in steel. It's very strong. And what else about iron? I really like the structure of ferrocene. It's something I had to synthesize in the lab when I was in college, and I have good memories of that inorganic chemistry lab. So number one instantly, because I always say, you guys haven't heard it yet, but now you will. I think I was meant to be a blacksmith. Not that I do anything related to that, but I love metals. Copper. Copper is the taste of blood and pennies. We shouldn't taste them. So E it goes. Actually, copper is actually really cool. It's in a lot of wire. It's very good conductor. So if you peel off the plastic part of some wires, you'll see that we have copper underneath. It really changed the world, but yeah, I don't want to taste blood or pennies, so there you go. Krypton, KR, part of the... It's not a trifecta, let me see. There are 4 elements that almost spell out my name. Can you guess what they are? I will put it in the description box, so don't look at it until after the video. But here's a hint, this is one of them. Krypton. It is important because kryptonite and Superman. Actually, I don't like DC very much, and that actually has nothing to do with the real krypton element, the noble gas. But because we don't see it very often in the world, I'm just going to put it in the bottom. It's not that cool. Silver. Silver and gold. Isn't that a song from somewhere? Silver. I like the color silver. My earrings are silver. I don't know if you can see. Actually, they're stainless steel, but they look silver, right? Silver's pretty cool. It's oh no, I was thinking of mercury. So Ag and Hg look kind of cool, similar. Hg is mercury, and it's poisonous. And I think colloidal mercury looks like silver, like a silver liquid, which is pretty cool. So, but silver itself it's all right. Let's see. Yeah, I think it goes in the bottom. It's only all right. And the last one is gold. What's better than gold? I mean, many things. I think gold only has value because we decided it had value. Intrinsically, I used to think gold was kind of good for nothing and was just a poster child for rich people, but I've learned in college that gold is actually inert, and it's really, despite being inert, I guess, it is a good catalyst site for synthesizing some cool stuff that I don't really understand because it was cutting edge technology when I was in school. But yeah, since in the spirit of all the cultures that love gold, and it's a pretty color, gold gets to sit next to iron. But iron's still number one because personally, I think of this list, it is my favorite. So it has been Molecularly Krystal, and I hope you enjoyed this. And please let me know what your favorites are, and check out the description box where I list almost all the elements that make up my name. Well, not the molecularly part, but anyway, see you next week. Bye.